They have made us laugh, cry, cringe, sad, but most importantly, they have inspired us to be the best versions of ourselves. Since March 2014, we've introduced you to Africans who are determined to make our continent a better place for all Africans by simply making a positive change in their lives, and in so doing, inspiring others to challenge themselves to do good. Hello and welcome to Bophelong. My name is Pule Mulebatsi. Take a trip down memory lane with me as we relive the moments that left us believing that everything is possible when self-belief is at play. We begin this journey with our recent guest, David McClopper. David sees himself as David from the Bible. He says he conquered phocomelia, a rare congenital disorder in which the hands or feet are attached close to the trunk, the limbs being grossly underdeveloped or absent. Just like David conquered Goliath, he has conquered phocomelia by living a full life. Watch this.
For David, there are no challenges, only opportunities to prove his abilities.
There was a lady that actually stopped us and she asked for us if she can pray for him. So we said, no, it's fine, you can pray for him, it's not a problem. And others that says, you know what, this child is very special, you will see how he's going to achieve in life, and you know, he's a blessing and all that. And the other day was in March, we also met another lady at the Love Day in Hyde Park. We took her for an interview there in, this lady, she said, she looked at him and he wanted to look down because now she's looking at him. And she said, you know what, don't look down, look up. And it was like she was giving him that confidence, you know, that don't feel inferior. You are a person, just like any other person, she said, and she started encouraging him. So there are people who, you know, who knows how to deal with the situation, and there are others who don't.
David conquers his Goliath on a daily by proving that there is nothing painful about his disability, rather daily opportunities to do better than able-bodied people.
Okay.
Talking less and doing more describes David's full character. Despite his disability, David has showed everyone that they need not to focus on what they see, rather on what they believe.
The swimming part was actually a blessing for me, because when he was smaller, like, he would want to be put in the water and you would have to hold him so that he doesn't sink in the swimming pool and all that. And then someone told us, listen here, why don't you take him for swimming lessons and see what will happen? So the swimming actually benefited me, because sometimes I wouldn't want to be in the water. Now he wants to be in the water. Now I have to get in the water with him and hold him there and feel the water and dip him underwater, because he wanted the water to go over his head and all that. He wanted to be underwater and feel that sensation and that. And he loves swimming very much. If David can swim every day, he would do that every day. This is how he is. And the soccer thing, at first we bought him a ball and he used to kick the ball in the house. Then he got used to the thing. This thing is bumping, so he kicked the ball higher, and then he would kick the thing against things of his mother and against pictures and that. But then we put him outside and let him play outside just alone. Then his sister used to join him, his friends used to join him and play with him and just kick the ball. And this is how we got interested in the soccer thing as well, and with the swimming. And the soccer is a more complex thing for him, because he knows things about soccer that I don't know. He knows players, he knows coaches, he knows all those kind of things of international soccer, local football stars. He knows more of them than I know, actually. And sometimes he would teach us, you know, this guy is that guy. Sometimes we would pass a soccer star, we don't even know, then he says, there's this guy, he's that and that. This is how he is. He's very interested in sports.
Having supportive and caring friends proves even more that it's not about how you look, but who you are that matters.
I thought, okay, I'm like this now, so I thought to myself when I was younger, okay, I need to figure things out on my own now. So I can't be always reliable on my parents. So I like figuring things out, climbing on the bed. My father used to help me. Then I'm like, no, I got this. Let me try on my own. Got on the bed, then start playing soccer. playing soccer in the streets. Then like, do this, just try to hold the ball. My friends even encouraged me sometimes, or let's say most of the time.
Defining him as a blessing, this ball of power pushes his family to break all barriers and limits.
To have David in our lives, it is like he has filled a gap in our lives. Because when he went to a hospital, because every 2 or 3 years, he has got this condition that is bone. It grows through the skin. Then you need to operate on it. So that very first time we felt it the hardest, because now he was away from us for a day or two. And that night when he slept over at the hospital, I felt that emptiness, that void at home. So he filled a great deal of our lives with his presence. So we can say he is a blessing to us. And as we see him growing, we see that one day he has got a space, a place on earth to do something, to mean something to somebody. And he's got a purpose.
Our producer, Nombuso Mahlangu, worked on this story, and this has been one of the stories that had the most response in terms of feedback. She joins me today to chat about her experiences after meeting David and his family. Nombuso, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You've been with Bophelong for a year, and you finally worked with David. And David is the guy that comes across as the guy that wants to show off his capabilities, to prove to everyone that he can live a full life despite any other challenges that he may face. What was it like working with David, spending the whole day with David and his family?
Actually, I spent like 3 days with them, and I first started at his school because he's at a boarding school. And I mean, from there, you can see that he's not scared of anything. He wasn't intimidated by the cameras. He's popular at school. He writes on the chalkboard. He writes his own exams. And he's quite confident. And I mean, working with him and seeing him, I would say he's the one that is keeping his family going. You know, his family and everyone and his friends, they all say they look up to him. And basically everything you saw, that's David in a nutshell. He doesn't shy away from anything. He didn't, keep anything to himself. He showed us everything that he does. Of course, we didn't see him playing cricket, but he plays cricket as well.
Amazing. And he swims. I saw the clips of him swimming. And because there was so much going on in the 3 days that you were there, what are the things that happened behind the scenes that we were not able to see when we finally broadcast the episode, because we are a 24 minutes program?
What happened behind the scene is, I mean, we'd always try and help him to move from one place to the other, jumping from bed and what's so not, but he wouldn't allow us to. He wanted to show us that he can do it. You know, he'd just crack jokes, he would break the ice. He made it so comfortable for us to work with him, and what you saw on TV, that's him. Like, he really showed us that he is courageous, although he's only 14. I mean, he did say that nothing is impossible with God, and he came up with the concept that his parents didn't name him David for nothing, you know. And it just shows you that everything happens the way it should and for a reason. And he really showed us that he's alive for a reason, and he's happy to be living.
And Nombuso, there was a response that came through after David's story broadcasted, and there was a letter that came through from one of our viewers. Can you please share the contents of the letter with us?
Okay, well, basically the letter is from a 22-year-old male who has been living with HIV since birth and has been living with COPD for 12 years now. And this person basically just wrote to us to say that David's story really inspired him because he was thinking of committing suicide right before watching the show. And the letter was sent literally the day after. And I mean, there was another letter as well of someone who also attempted or was thinking of committing suicide, and wrote to us and said, you know what, after this story, I thought to myself, no, I can do it, you know. And David has been invited to a lot of shows now. He does motivational speaking in his community radio station, and his mom called us saying a lot of people have been calling her as well, saying he's an inspiration to them. Yeah,
absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you, Bophelong.
And that's why we do what we do here on Bophelong, to change the lives of others and tell good stories of Africa. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to our highlights special. We are revisiting stories that struck a chord with us here on the show and the rest of the viewers at home. Makamelo is one guest that changed the discussions we have as staff members of the show in our weekly story meetings. When our producer Sinenhlanhla Mthombo told the Bophelong team about Makamelo, we went back to the drawing board and looked at the stories we share, especially on the month of August when we celebrate our women. So we realized that everyday women such as herself are often overlooked, as the focus is often placed on overachievers, and we forget Bo Mama Batwana Lene, who wake up every day with one goal: to provide for their children with the little income that they make. Let's have a look at a story.
Some are sleeping, some are getting ready for work, and some are already heading to work.
Ngifila uthi uNkulunkulu ahlale ancede uthi ngiphilele ingane zami zikhule zifunde zingazophila le nto engiphilile mina.
"32-year-old Makamelo, a mother of two, is one woman who knows how to work hard for money to feed her family.
Ngafika lana la eGoli ngo2002. Ufika wami la eGoli ngafika ngilethwa womunye baba na womunye mama ngizobasebenzela le phezulu ePark Station. Safika sasebenza kwalo baba wasixosha saphindela ekhaya.
When life knocked her down, she tried again.
Ngaqhuba impilo ngadayisa daily sana. Maybe about 2 years or 3 years. Ngabona ukuthi kathi ichinchi hayibi khona. Ngahamba ngavula business lami erank Wonders. Ngadayisa ama cold drink, ngadayisa ama apple. Ize la sithi ngimpilo ikathi izobonakala. Basixoshe erank bathi abasafuna umuntu odayisa lapho.
Second time unlucky, she still got back up on her feet and tried again.
Ngazala ezansi eDorfanten. Ngize kuwomunye mama womSuthu wasekhaya. Mase ngize kulowo mama ngababuza uthi lezi ingcola uqhuba kanjani uthi nisiqhube kanje. Wathi hayi ngizobonisa. Wena uthenga ingcola zohamba nawe siye Hillbrook. Ngaleso sikhathi bengisasebenza eHillbrook. Awusaya eHillbrook into zami ngabona ziba right. Ngiphila ngikhona ukuthi ngiphile impela ngacela ulutho kumuntu.
And since then, she has been able to generate money that keeps her and her family going. Every day she wakes up early, walk to different suburbs, some as far as 12 kilometers, just to dig in bins for anything and everything that she can sell at companies that buy recyclables.
Friday, ngiphuma lana maybe ngabo 3:30. Ngiyayela Albertine food. Kuya depend. Umsebenzi mawulumningi kakhulu eAlbertine ngo Friday. Uzothola uthi la endlini ngifika ngabo 6 ntambama or ngabo 7.
It cannot always be safe for her to be on the road by herself when it's still so dark. But she explains where her trust is.
Mina ngithembanga lutho, ngithembe nje uNkulunkulu uthi uye uzongiteta angise la ngifuna uya khona aphinde angibuyise futhi.
The men can do all sorts of stunts on their trolleys, and clearly Makamelo has mastered the technique of skating with her trolley too. This was not just by choice, but it was because of pressure.
Mina ngifundiswa ngumuntu ngisibonele nje laba bobaba nsebagibela ngasho ngathi nami uthi ngize ngifike la ngiya khona ngokusheshsha uvuza ngigibele lento uthi nami ngiyofika ngokusheshsha.
By the time she arrives at her destination, it's still dark outside. But she continues doing her work.
Kahle ebinini ngifuna igroup ama plastic bokhopha yonke into esebimini ngiyayifuna. Ngaphandle ulo boma pampers ini boma plastic lawa ashwabuze yangwe yabona angifuni lawa bolezi zinto zaboma okati lawa amancane angifuni lozona kodwa the most into zesebimini siyasifuna sonke.
She does this till the sun comes out, and still the work does not stop. And when others are driving to work and walking to school, she is already halfway done with her mission.
Sinenhlanhla joins me today to chat about her experiences working on this story. Sinenhlanhla, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I can call you Snemos.
Yes.
That's how we call you on the show anyway. You've been with us for close to a year now. And you told us when you pitched this story that you pass Makabelo every day when you come to work. So I want to know, what is it that particular day when you're driving to the show, to work, you decided, man, this woman has a story to tell. What is it about her that made you decide that you're going to pitch her to us? Because Ronane, we didn't understand.
You know, Bophelong, on a daily, when I drive from home to work, I usually see these men pulling trolleys, and usually but
yeah.
And then like I think a week after I started realizing that these people pull trolleys, I noticed that women do it too, you know. And then that's when I realized, you know what, I want to find out now, what are these trolleys, what do they have, and where are they taking the trolleys to? And that's when I decided, you know what, I'm going to get a woman and just find out, what are they doing? So I followed Makamelo and I decided, you know what, women do different things to make money, you know. And Istorisa Makamelo was very unique in a way because she works long hours, walks long distances just to feed her family. So I thought her story was unique and she had to be celebrated.
And as we saw in the clip that we just played now, it was dark when you guys started shooting until the afternoon. Just tell us about that experience of being on set the whole day following one person. How did you work that day?
Okay, Umakamelo wakes up every day at 3 a.m. So we had to be there, Maivu at 3 a.m. She leaves the house around 4 a.m. So we followed her. It was just me and the cameraman.
Yeah.
And she walks to different suburbs every day. But that particular day, she was walking to Alberton. And she lives at Jefferstown, which is downtown. That's like an hour and a half of walking, close to 2 hours. So we walked, we followed her. She got to Alberton around 6 a.m. So when she's walking, you can actually see the sun rising. And by the time she gets to Alberton and starts digging in bins, you see people are only leaving then for work. And she's already halfway done with her work, you know. So she actually walks with an empty trolley, walks to that suburb, starts digging in bins and looks for recyclables. And then she walks back until she digs until she fills it up until it's full, and then she walks back. Now she walks uphill, coming back to Johannesburg. And when she gets to Johannesburg, she still has to separate the recyclables accordingly, and then walks again to go sell all that stuff. So we followed all of that, and just walking with her, going through the day with her, just made me realize, you know what, some women out there would do anything just to feed their family. That's
true.
Yeah.
And then at least she's doing it legally, not illegally, or you know. I think if there's one story that needs following up, I think it'll be that one. It'll be nice for us to actually see these people that she's working so hard for, you know, the children, maybe after they've matriculated or something, because that's the end goal. That was Sinenhlanhla Mthembu, one of the producers who work here on the show with us. Time now for a quick break. We'll be back.
News Today takes an in-depth look on news locally, continentally, and globally. We bring the world to your home. We cover all economy news extensively to keep you informed. We are live to break news as and when they happen across the world. We analyze news using experts in all aspects. Make a date with News Today every Monday to Friday from 3 to 5:30 p.m.
Welcome back to the last leg of our highlights special. One of the things that our guests have in common is their willingness to share their personal encounter with the hope to educate or empower the next person, or sharing their skills to better the lives of others. Kilikile Kwinana is one of South African women in construction who didn't only change the game when she put on a helmet and a construction gear to build the homes of the less fortunate, but she called upon other women to join the movement. Now she and her team are improving the lives of others through their project. I caught up with them on a construction site in Bronkhorstspruit, and this is what took place.
They spend hours on the construction site to ensure that they complete the project. Where do they get the stamina to do this hard manual labor?
I'm 60 years old. I started building construction in 2002. I jog in the morning at times to keep myself healthy. And most of the time we are always on site trying to keep up with whatever that is being done. It's my passion because whatever I do, I think of the other people who don't have anything. So that is why we are here today, to assist those who don't have anything.
As the saying goes, age ain't nothing but a number. The Sawick ladies have shown us that. From a construction site to the Nelson Mandela Hospital for Children, Bophelong is always on the lookout for change makers wherever they are. In the year 2014, we met a young, vibrant lady, Thando Manyati.
Thando Manyati was born with unusual facial paralysis, causing her facial muscles to be stiff and restrict movement or any form of facial expressions. Born and bred in Maryvale, east of Johannesburg, Thando struggled to laugh and play with children in a neighborhood because of a lack of facial expressions.
I couldn't sit with other kids at school because they would ask me, why am I like this? And why am I talking like this? Why are my eyes tiny and why?
Thando's mother felt the pain of her daughter and sought help from former President Nelson Mandela.
It was difficult for me to eat, and people would stare at me and ask me, why do I eat like this?
2 years later, Thando's mother received a response that would change a child's life. A surgery was booked for Thando at the Charlotte Maxeke Hospital.
She wrote a lot, but I think she wrote 2 or 3 to Mandela. My mom was talking to Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela personally called Mark Lubner, the co-founder of the Smile Foundation, to assist in finding a world-class surgeon for Thando.
I started the Smile Foundation in the year 2000 in response to a request that I received from the then President Nelson Mandela. He had received a letter, erroneously, a letter that had appeared on his family mail pile from Thando Malambo Manyati's mother, who reminded him of an obligation that he had made, a commitment that he had made to help her child receive surgery, very complex surgery. The child had a facial paralysis condition called Moebius syndrome, and Madiba had promised to try and help.
Thando's lack of ability to eat, drink and laugh caused her great pain.
Her speech isn't 100% perfect. So what we've done is, as a follow-up, we were able to assist with her getting further training, computer skills training, and more recently we in fact employed her within the Smile Foundation some 12-13 years after she had her first procedure. We were able to bring her in to the organisation, and she's got a job of work here that she's measured on. She has to perform the same that all of our other staff have to.
The rare disease does not only target the facial muscles, but can take a toll on a child's emotions.
The hospitals didn't have necessarily the budget, and that's where we stepped in and started to provide a coordinated approach, and also an approach where the kids were treated like kids. It's frightening for these kids to come to these huge monolithic structures and for the first time face a surgeon in theatre. So we started to bring in, let's call it the child-friendly element.
Tando is the instigator of the Smile Foundation, which is now helping thousands of children with reanimation surgeries across the country.
Tando now works for the Smile Foundation as a project coordinator, and every year she takes goodies to children in hospitals to cheer them up. We are nearing the end of our show, but before we end our journey, I would like to remind you of the outspoken, charming, motivational speaker and author Musa Zulu. His story is one of twists and turns, but most importantly, triumph. Here is a moment that changed his life after a car accident that left him paralyzed.
uSibundebele wayesawu MEC of Transport ngaleso sikhathi KwaZulu-Natal, and he wanted to improve road safety emgaqweni. So I applied for that lentwana, for that position, and when I got to the interview there was something like about 10 of us, and I remember looking at everybody and thinking, so there's going to be competition in finding this thing. And then I realized, no, there's actually no competition. I'm the only one la. But listen to this. I then step forward and I say to the rest, Uma sengizongena lapha we interviewing chamber. Guys, I need you to do me this favor. I need you to phone me tonight and congratulate me because this job is mine. So they look at me like, what did he say? I said, no, gentlemen, it's mine because I'm the only one here of all of us who have come for this opportunity, who is reflections of what happens when we do not adhere to the rules of the road or when accidents happen on our roads. And of course I took the job. This was big. It was a big opportunity which I took with both hands and took it to another level. And today South Africa has Arrive Alive, which is based on the principles of the ASIPEPE project, which we started in KwaZulu-Natal. Would I have been successful with interview had I not been in the wheelchair? I don't think so. I was going to be in competition. Maybe my qualifications and the fact that I talked too much could have won me the job, but the disability just made it clear to everybody, which if you really want to get it from the horse's mouth, this is the horse.
And from then on, Musa accepted his condition and moved forward.
Anybody that forgets yesterday is a fool that is never going to see tomorrow. I will never forget the fact that I was given 23 years of a beautiful life where I was walking. I am not one to ever want to bury myself in a grave of no emotions. I'm human. I embrace my situation. I know that there are certain things I can do and certain things that I cannot do. But I'm certainly not going to be living in a life where those are balanced on the scales. I'm going to choose one side and I'm going to live it the best way I can. And I choose the side where I focus on my abilities more than the things that I lost.
With that, we pause here. We return again next week with more change makers. From me and the rest of the Bophelong team, it's a goodbye for now.